Nick speaking, and welcome to this video. Right, day 20 of the WarbossTae Painting Challenge, and I'm now ready to have a look at doing the freehand. So I'm going to have a chat about the freehand. I have done some work to show you as well, so stay tuned to see how it's progressing. But yeah, first of all, a chat about it. So as you may or may not know from previous videos, I am using the Kazon from Star Trek Voyager as my sort of inspiration for the army, mainly based around this model here where he's got this like massive hairdo. So I've sort of coloured my hair in this sort of design, and the theme is going to be to have some Kazon text as my freehand. Now, the only Kazon text that I could find is this one, which is obviously in front of you. And the only other thing that I could find was the actual Kazon symbol itself, which I've printed out, which is just that there. So that's all I've got to go on. So what I did to start with is I resized the text. So I basically reprinted it on this piece of paper here, just to try and get a rough idea of how big I wanted the text on the raiders and stuff. Now, bearing in mind I've got the text going on the Venoms and the Hellions, so I didn't want to have like a different size text. I wanted the text to all be the same, so that's why I sized it down a little bit smaller. Now you can see I've got one missing there. That's because before I did anything is I decided where I wanted the text to go, so I cut out the text, and so I basically placed them on the vehicles with some blue tack where I wanted the text to be. And the first process for me was to do basically just a very thin coat of paint with the base coat that I'm going to be using as the Jokero orange, and basically just sort of almost sketch in where the design is going to go, so I can get a nice scowl, try and get the text sort of evenly spaced and hopefully horizontal, etc. So that's where I started. I've done about 3 hours of painting on top of this sort of research. So I'm going to stop the camera here, get the work out and show you what I've been up to. Okay, so this is where I've got up to. I've put down the first coat of freehand on everything. So I'm really happy with how it's starting to look. But let's just have a quick closer look. Okay, so I'm just going to zoom in. I'm going to start where I started, which was over on that raider just there. So yeah, I cut the text out where I was going to put it, and just blue tap that on. Tried to use a piece of paper as a guide to keep it straight as such, and then I laid down some very thin first coats. Now at this stage I haven't done those sort of extra like spots and bits and pieces on there. I am thinking I will add that, but I want to get this down exact first. So what I'm going to do next is I will be going back over all of these, just basically filling them out, straightening them up, getting them basically looking as good as I can. So I did that one, this one here, and then on the other raider, which might be a bit close to focus, but you certainly get the idea of what I was doing. So I decided to do 3 letters on these raiders, and I have no idea if these have real meanings, but I used the text that I found, and I started with each one of these at the beginning of the text that was on there. So, like I said, I don't know if it have any meaning. Then I went on to the Venoms, and the Venoms I decided to do 2 letters, because obviously they're smaller units as such. So I did those. That one going to focus, maybe not. Let's just see if I can. Right, you can see that anyway. And then I went on to the Hellions. Now, as I proceeded, I got slightly better, and not only just laying down the very basic shapes, but actually starting to fill out some of those shapes as well. So you can probably see that on these Hellions looking slightly better, more detailed. I went on to the Archon and also the Sal. Now, decided on those I was just going to have one symbol. Originally I thought about putting on the whole of that symbol, but I thought it was way too detailed on such a small item. So in the end I decided to stick to just, I've got it back to front actually, right, there you go, to stick the first letter in the middle on one side and the last letter on the other side. So that's basically what I did. And again, you can see these are actually finished. So that's that first letter, and then that's the last one. So well, I say finished, that one might need slightly more neating up, but yeah, as I said, I definitely got a bit more confident as I went along, not only just like sketching out the basic shape like I did over there, but also filling it out a little bit more. And then you come to the cell, which I did there and there. Now when I did the cell, I lined it up nice and straight with that middle run, and then I magnetised it onto here and realised that that middle run does not go straight on the radar, so I don't actually have a horizontal text. Yeah, it's too bad. I think it still works. I don't think it's an issue, but it's not quite what I had in mind. But like I said, I've just turned this around here as well. You know, I think it still works. So I'm just going to leave it like that. I mean, you know, that's just one of those things that happens in life, I suppose. But I mean, I could potentially just black that cell in and repaint it from the beginning, but I don't think it's worth it. I think I'm happy with it. So that is how the freehand is starting to look. Now, obviously, like I said, I've got to go in now. I'll probably spend another painting session, another day, getting those all up to where exactly I want them. And then I will add in probably the little extra details, any spots and stuff from that original text that I want to do. And then I'll have to go over all of the text with the Troll Slayer Orange. Probably take a couple of coats just to build up that nice bright orange. But yeah, that's how they're looking. Right, okay, so let's go on to today's question. Day 20. A very wealthy producer is going to make a live action movie. Think World of Warcraft, of your favourite war game. What would you want to see make it to the big screen? Who would be in it? Is there a scenario or a story in the fiction that you want to see made into a film? So, well, as you know, I'm all about 40k. Of course, we had that 40k movie, the Ultramarines one, which was good, but I think it could have been a lot better. And I think if they'd used different races, I think it would be a lot better. I suppose, what was it, Dawn of War 3? I mean, if you just look at that, just imagine Eldar, Necrons, so many fantastic races. Okay, races that I play, maybe I'm biased, but I just think that they could do a lot more. I think just like the visual of Necrons would be absolutely awesome on the big screen. The visual of Eldar with all the different aspect warriors. I just think that would be just amazing. So I'd say 40k, probably with Eldar and Necrons in the movie. Okay, so that is it for today's update. Thanks so much for tuning in. I'm going to crack on some more on the freehand, and I'll be back tomorrow with another update.